So You're Cordially Invited is a romantic comedy movie with Hollywood legends Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon in this wedding disaster movie, where they both unintentionally book their family's wedding on the same island on the same date. And on that point, I really don't get all of the hype about this particular island, as it looked so basic in the movie. I guess though, for both of these characters, it did hold a lot of sentimental value. I mean, this movie had a decent premise, and I feel like all of the family tension, along with the exploration of loneliness from Margot's family's perspective, was really, really interesting. And by contrast, I feel like all of the Gen Z humor in Jim's family just did not land, and if anything, just detracted from this movie, as it was so try-hard and so cringy, but unfortunately not in a good way. I did like how in the beginning, Jim and Margot are set up as rivals, but then as the movie progresses, they do constantly play an alternate between being friends and then enemies. But that being said, I feel like the romance at the end of this movie was so forced, and it didn't really get built up in a natural way. But that being said, I feel like this movie is really well paced. I feel like it goes from scene to scene in a bit of a rapid way and doesn't stay or even overstay its welcome, which is really, really good. And like I said, I love all of the particular family moments with Margot's family. Jim's one was alright when it was just the father-daughter relationship, but all of the extended friendships were just not working, unfortunately. So let's talk about the two leads. So I feel like Reese Witherspoon was actually pretty brilliant as Margot. I feel like in some ways she is really relatable in terms of the fact that she couldn't really connect with her family, and so as a result, to compensate for this, she threw herself into her work, which in turn just exasperated the division that she is experiencing with her family. And so the more distance that is caused between all of the parties, the more resentment, and then they just constantly just get further and further apart. And so when they're reunited at events like this, they are just so far apart that there is little to no connection. And I thought it was really good how it wasn't just between Margot and her mother. Actually, she is experiencing this with her siblings, with all of her extended family. And then I just loved the way in which Margot was then rebuilding all of these connections. It was actually done in such a good way. Will Ferrell was really, really funny, as always, as Jim. And as Jim, he does some absolutely horrific things. And even though he definitely does get his comeuppance for it, I don't think it was enough. I mean, first of all, he ruined Margot's sister's sunset opportunity. All of the photos, all of the nice video moments, all ruined. And she can never get that particular moment back, as everyone was, of course, there on this specific island, all dressed up, and the sunlight is now gone. But if that wasn't enough, he hired that speedboat to completely ruin the last potential happy moments, and the bride and the groom and everybody was just sinking. Thankfully, nobody drowned, but that could have been absolutely awful. And if all of that wasn't enough, he then got an alligator and put it in Margot's room. I feel like Jim was way too quickly forgiven, because all of that carnage was just absolutely crazy. And then he is clearly not liking her daughter's boyfriend, and then is just constantly trying to look for opportunities to split them apart. I thought it was funny when he was like, it has been seen, when he is thinking that he has now finally caught this guy out and can tell his daughter that her husband-to-be actually cheated on her. Like I said, he was just way too quickly forgiven, maybe because he is such a nice, lovable character, but this type of person could be really deadly. But as it's Will Ferrell, this character is really, really funny, especially when he is running down the hallway trying to get to his daughter right at the end, and all of her friends are running behind him. So overall, I feel like You're Cordially Invited is an enjoyable movie, but by that same token, it is a really forgettable one as well. And as far as romantic comedy movies are concerned, I feel like there are so many better ones, especially with a wedding setting. For example, like with My Best Friend's Wedding, but I feel like Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell really do make this one what it is. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give You're Cordially Invited a 4.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.